everyone. You may not believe where I'm coming to you live from, but maybe you are. If you follow me on Insta stories or if you follow people that I follow, you know that I was just in Italy running a big somatic healing and hiking retreat, which was so amazing. I co-hosted it with Amy Gianni, and we brought my girl Melissa, who, if you've been on the inside of any of my programs, you know that she's come in and done chakra work with you guys. Anyway, we just finished out that retreat a little under a week ago, and it was remarkable. It was so good. If you follow my stories, then you're going to start seeing me post more about it, because sometimes I have a hard time posting while doing those things. I like to just be there. And it was just incredible. And I've actually been in Europe for almost 3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks tomorrow. And you guys, my heart is hurting. Some of you may be like, why is she in Europe away from her kids, her family for that long? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer around how long a mother should be away from her children. It's going to be different for everybody. For me, I love being with my kids. They are just so fun to be around. Every stage just is incredible, incredible, incredible. And when we were deciding to leave the south of France we decided last March. And then we were waiting to tell our friends here, because we were like, are we going to leave in June or October? And we thought, October feels about right. We can tell our friends in June, and then we'll go to the States for summer, and then we'll come back and we'll have a few months to just tie up all of our loose ends. Well, what happened was we got wind that we might be able to start our kids in some French immersion schools in the States. And once we realized that, and we looked at the start date, which was mid-August, we were already going home for a family reunion in July. We just thought, maybe since we know we're going back, maybe it's just time to get there. So we got rid of so much stuff. Some really good friends here who were moving into a big empty house with no furniture because they'd moved here from Australia. And so all of our really good stuff, we just gave a ton of stuff to them, sold a few of our nicer things. And then we planned for me or both of us to come back in the fall and just finish clearing out the garage at our house, just finish tying up those loose ends, getting rid of last little things here and there. And so when it came down to it, when the planning finally came about, planning and execution, we felt like it might make more sense for one of us to come. And that ended up being me, because that way my husband, we could have a parent home with the kids. And then when I looked at timing, I was already holding a retreat here, so I knew I needed to be out here in September. And then in France, where we happen to live, they have these monthly, I call them monster trucks, but that's not what they're actually called. But these monthly pickups where any bulky items you have that can't fit in a trash bin, they'll just come take it for you. And not only that, because sometimes the loot can be really good, they're like these groups of people who just know the system, and they start looping the street the week before to get the good stuff before it goes to the dumpster, which is also great, because then things can be used again or bought and sold again or whatnot. So when I looked at that date, it was about a week before the retreat started, or 6 days. And then when I decided to leave, one of my best friends was like, but you have to come on our semi-annual hiking trip. And so the timing was just such that it made sense for me to be away for 3 weeks, because the week we got here, we had to get everything out of the garage onto the street, which was a big undertaking. And then we had to prepare for the retreat. And then I was going to leave stuff at the house. And then I found out our landlord was actually going to sell the house. So I ended up having to get more, because I was like, I'll leave my, kids' skitters and the basketball hoop and the ping pong table. We'll leave all this stuff for his kids too. And then I found out he was selling. So it was like, oof, I've really got to get rid of stuff. Even just the little things I thought I was going to leave here, we had to get rid of that as well. So we had the retreat, and then this last week, I've just been really finalizing loose ends, selling our car, getting the garage even more cleaned out, I'm using a monitor right now that right after I finish my last calls today, I'm going to be giving these monitors to my friends, because it's just not worth it to bring everything home. And I want to say that packing things up has been very, very emotional for me, especially today, because I told you it is hitting today. And I had my last lunch out on my terrace. And even though we felt like it just really is time for our chapter in the south of France to end, we just felt so supported by our community the entire time we've been here. And just sitting on my terrace eating lunch, I'm just looking around in awe of the elements, the earth, the air, the wind, the greenery, the nature noises, the mountains behind my house. It's where we live is such a secret little jewel, hidden jewel in the French Riviera. I'm just in awe. And I'm so grateful for how much nature has soothed me and my body and my nervous system over the years. So, man, I will never forget this place. A part of my soul has implanted in this part of the world, and I will always be different in the best way because of it. Um, and I know we'll be back to visit a lot, visit our friends a lot. But just so much, I have so much gratitude for this beautiful home that we lived in, for where we have lived, that's housed me and my husband and my kids, and the privilege it's been to live in an area that's safe, where if I forget to lock my car at night, it's not going to be gone the next morning. There's a lot of privilege in that. I feel very privileged that I can live somewhere, I can be a foreigner in a country and have the privilege to move to my home country when I want and feel at home there. I want to acknowledge that privilege, but also just the gratitude for all the memories that I've had in this beautiful country with my family, and all the learning and development and healing that's happened, opening up. My spiritual deconstruction happened here. The friends who were here for me during that were just here for me, for my essence, for my soul. They don't see me as an in or out church person. They see me as a full soul, where my name on a piece of paper, like, that's very benign and irrelevant to who I am. And so even that has been very healing for me. So obviously I'm emotional today, but I'm also feeling amazing, so much gratitude. And actually going to spend the weekend hiking with a lot of these friends, which will be the perfect way to end this trip. And then I cannot wait to get home to my babies and to my partner, because there is definitely a void this week, especially being away. But it's also just what needed to happen for us, my partner and I, to divide and conquer and get stuff done. And I think it's finally been hitting me that this chapter is closing. I don't feel like it hit me when we left in the summer, because I knew I was coming back. And I'm pretty sure it hit me because I was at the car mechanic this morning just getting something fixed on my car. And the woman there, who's been the assistant or secretary at that car mechanic place, I like burst into tears talking to her while leaving. And I just told her, my very broken French, it's already hard enough to find a mechanic that gosh, I'm still emotional. It's already hard enough to find a car mechanic that you trust in the States, in your own language, your home country. And so when you can find good people who don't rip you off when you're living in a foreign country, who care about you, who take care of your car, who don't screw it up, it means something. And so, yeah, I cried in front of her. But it was really cute. And, she might come to the States at some point. So she has my number. I have her number. She's really sweet. But those things really matter. And I've just been even driving down the neighborhood, there's this, if you know the French Riviera, there are these quintessential, maybe I'll try to have my assistant post a picture of it on the show notes. There are these quintessential cars that scream Saint-Tropez, French Riviera. And I totally want one at some point someday, whether it's us living here or having a second home here in 10 years. But driving down the street to my house today, the guy who has one of those cars and who was always doing little projects and fiddling with that car, I saw him. And yeah, I think it's just hitting that we're leaving. And we've already been in my hometown. I'm in Utah, where I grew up. And if you would have asked me 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, or even 20 years ago, if I would ever live there again, I would have given you a big fat hell no. Not because I didn't like it. I just never saw myself going back there. But also, we're humans, and humans carry trauma. And do I have traumatic memories? And have I had traumatic experiences from childhood? Yes. And so there was a lot of me that was just nope, probably not. However, intuitively, it has just felt meant to be to go back to that area for a little bit. And so I have really been facing a lot of my childhood stuff. It's been right there in my face. And so it's been a very intense time, healing wise, but it's also been an intense healing time too, where I have been able to be a safe adult for little Lindsay, inner child Lindsay, to look to and find safety in that maybe she didn't quite have in certain ways as a child. And even in the moments where I've cracked a little bit, my partner has been stepped in as another safe adult for me, adult Lindsay, but that also just heals those inner child parts as well. And so it's been really nice. And I teach more of this in my programs, but like finding an alter ego or a future version of yourself to access or channel to really easily and readily embody a certain state of being so that you can show up the way that you want to in certain situations. And for a long time, I've really felt connected to falcons. I've always felt like I've had a good lioness energy, but I've been really connected to falcons for a lot of reasons. Falcons or eagles, they're not as reactive when it comes to storms, like life storms. They can even ride the waves of the wind, right? They can even just be above a storm cloud and watch it and not be totally like worked over by it. So there's a lot of different cool things about falcons. In the south of France, in Cannes, which is about 11 miles up the coast from us, there are these luxury hotels that were having problems with seagulls jumping on tables and taking food or knocking over cups on their luxury guests. And so they trained falcons to basically keep seagulls away from people who just wanted to come live their lives. And I really resonate with that and relate to that in the sense where we're meant to embody predatory energy as humans. We are mammals. And I love the idea of embodying my predatory energy to protect people and groups that I care about. And these hotel guests who just want to come enjoy their lives and have a vacation without little seagulls knocking their food over. I relate that to more marginalized groups who just want to live and be left alone. And I want to advocate for that because it really matters to me. I'm emotional today. I'm okay with that. Letting your emotion comes through. There's a line in the Barbie movie that says, letting your emotion comes through isn't limiting, it's actually expansive. I totally believe that. So anyway, I have really felt connected to falcons in years past. And coming back to Utah, where it's been bringing up a lot of stuff, what I've been noticing needing to come through is more of what I call my unbothered lioness energy. And so I wrote a post recently where I said, I'm entering my unbothered lioness era. And it actually works really well for me too, because it's not just about surviving in my home state where I left the religion that I grew up in, but I don't want to just figure out how to survive there. I want to really thrive and really enjoy my experience there and allow my true self to just keep coming through and not be in hiding, to continue to meet amazing people that are vibrational matches for me. And so I joked that something clicked maybe 3 weeks ago, like where in different ways something has shifted, something is brewing. And for those of you who are following me here, on my podcast or on Instagram or in my programs, I want to take you for this ride with me. Again, that unbothered lioness energy, again, is similar to the falcon in the sense that I can use my predatory energy to protect and to teach others. I love the way an unbothered lioness I imagine an unbothered lioness playing with her cubs, but also still being very protective. I see in my unbothered lioness energy era, I see myself having and maintaining very confident boundaries, right? Boundaries that enhance intimacy in mutually respectful relationships. That's very key. Some people say that boundary people are the most compassionate, and confident boundaries can also mean saying no and letting that be a full sentence without over-explaining. In my unbothered lioness era, I love the imagery of grace under pressure, remaining composed in the face of chaos and challenges. This doesn't mean like a fawning face where I'm like pretending to hold it together where I'm not. I'm remaining composed and grounded in the face of chaos and challenges. No matter what happens, I don't need to allow external circumstances to shake my inner peace. I'm grounded. I'm aware of my power. and I don't react to provocation or petty situations. But that can happen, right? It can happen. And I can let that throw me, or I can let it pass like a leaf in the wind. Okay. In my unbothered lioness era, I am strategic with the things that I do, with my action. I channel my energy wisely. I hunt, work, or play. I hunt or work only when necessary and conserve my efforts for what truly matters. I have time to play, to be playful with my little lion cubs and others around me. I'm decided, I'm purposeful, and I avoid unnecessary distractions or activities that don't serve me and my higher goals. In my unbothered lioness era, I embody fierce protection of myself and my inner circle. Ooh, this one really resonates with me. Lionesses are known for their deep loyalty to their pride, and this alter ego would embody that protected instinct towards my chosen people and myself as well. I want to make sure that my needs are met before giving to others. And when I do give, it's with fierce loyalty and love. I love that one so much because I think of even like the people who were on the Cinque Terre retreat with me and how protective and loving I felt towards them, and how I feel that way towards my clients and to my family and to people in my inner circle. Like the love runs deep. If you know me, the love runs deep. Okay. This is a fun one, but in my unbothered lioness era, I embody effortless bohemian chic finesse. The unbothered lioness doesn't chase approval or validation. I carry myself with an innate elegance that draws people in naturally. I know my value. I don't seek attention, and I let my presence speak for itself. So this is where I'm at. This is what I'm really feeling in the work that I do, in the life that I live personally, professionally. And it's been feeling amazing. And I even was talking to my friend Melissa after the retreat, and I said, man, like there was still these things happening with people that I love. They had big things, life things that they were sharing with me. I told her, I'm like, I was still able to like exhibit and channel that energy during the retreat, which was really cool. And I noticed that. And unbothered lionesses can be protective, but we can be protected too. And that's important too, because I think as women, we can be really powerful, but there's a lot of power and healing that comes from people being unbothered by us being ourselves and wanting to protect us as well. And so it's like when I talk about fierce protection of pride and inner circle, I see that as a circle where we're being protected and taken care of too. So this is where I'm headed, and it's just felt so good, like such an up level. And I'm channeling this in all my programs that I'm running. I'm channeling this in my certification that I'm running, my advanced spirituality, Felicia Paz, my advanced intuitive trauma-informed coach certification. So if you're wanting to learn how to channel whomever it is that you want to channel, or whatever animal or human or element or version of yourself, this is where it can happen. It can happen in this circle, and you can do it in a beautiful, very safe circle of other like-minded coaches who are wanting to do the same thing. And this is what the world needs for collective healing to happen. More of us dialing into our true selves, our true knowing, and feeling safe enough to live from there. You better believe this is coming through in my certification. And if you want to see that in reality, you have a few weeks, you have a little bit of time. Felicia, pause. You have a little bit of time to sign up for my next certification program. We start on October 22nd. Cannot wait. The people in there are just amazing. So I just can't wait to have more of you in there. Go ahead and you'll see the link in my show notes to sign up today and get rolling so that we can do this work together. And I have plenty of testimonials on my website if you want to hear from other people. But the program just keeps getting better and better, especially because we're integrating so much more of spirituality into it. More like in your face this time, because a lot of it I've been doing more behind the scenes. But now you're going to see even more of it visibly, and you're going to be taught more of these tools in the program as well, so that you can bring a lot of that to the table in your coaching practices and your personal lives. So if that's something you're curious about, check out my show notes. Email me if you have questions. You can also book a call with me to get any lingering questions answered. And I really hope to see you in our next group. Have the best day. So, are you ready to become a part of our forever community of trauma informed coaches? Go to lindsaypoelman.com and see if my advanced certification is a fit for you.
See.